Thank you for tuning into the Carolina Business Leaders Podcast, where we share the stories of local business leaders and impact makers who are community focused and deeply rooted in the Carolinas. Today's guest is Tina Belge, a passionate urban planner and housing advocate. She is the founder of Catalyst Community Consulting and is currently running for an at-large seat in the Greenville City Council with the mission to bring inclusive, community-focused leadership to local government. So Tina, thanks for joining us
Thank
today.
you for being here, Tina.
Of course.
I'm glad we can share a name. Christina, Tina. But you know who we're talking to because she's using the nickname Tina.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's fine. Well,
You shared earlier that you're from Augusta, but how long have you been in the Greenville area?
12 years.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
So you've seen it grow. I mean, obviously post-COVID, it's just like shot up.
Well, even before that, so my mom, she went to Daniel. My papa taught at Clemson. I would go to like Clemson soccer camps. And so when I was a kid, we'd come for the zoo. That was about it for Greenville.
Did you go to the Columbia Zoo?
Well, we did. We mostly went to Columbia Zoo.
Columbia's got definitely the better zoo. Yeah.
But when I was a baby, like, it was Greenville because we were close with our, close
family,
with our grandparents.
Right?
And then I saw it again, and I visited again very frequently in high school and in college, and just I fell in love with Greenville. And I thought, okay, once I get out of school, I'm gonna come right back here. And we've been ever since.
Okay, wow, cool. She can relate. She's a huge advocate for Greenville.
Yeah, I mean, I'm born and raised, so there's not many of us that are left. But this place is amazing, and I've seen it grow, my whole entire life. He got here in high school, and you've even seen some growth in Greenville.
If you're running a small to mid-sized business, there's simply not enough hours in a day to take care of all of your business needs. From managing health insurance to payroll, procurement, advertising, you're going to need some help to get that initial momentum going. That's why I would partner with Questco. They take care of all the behind-the-scenes administrative and HR work, letting you focus on what truly matters, which is running your business. That's Questco, Questco. Visit Questco.net or call your local Questco representative, Thomas Owens, at 864-477-0843 to get started today.
But with all that being said, there's a lot of good things happening here. So what would you say is your favorite thing about Greenville or your favorite part of Greenville?
I love two things. I love the environment. I love our trees. I love, you can go to the mountains, like Jocassee. I mean, it's technically not Greenville County.
Beautiful, though.
Like, my favorite spot. But I love the people. Like, most, importantly, I think, we have a great art scene. We've got funky, cool, small businesses. And, I don't know, it's got a great, thriving, philanthropic arm, and everybody's very community-centered. I feel like that.
I think it's cool, too, with Greenville. It really is so green, like in the downtown area.
I was just going to say that.
We were thinking that the other day.
Was it us that was talking? I couldn't remember who I was talking to, but someone, maybe it was you, was saying Greenville is really living out the green in Greenville. I mean, it's just everything's green and gorgeous right now, which is amazing. So glad that you mentioned that because this place is truly beautiful.
Yeah. Yes. So you're obviously very involved in Greenville, running for city council.
Yes.
Can you talk about some of the things that you're involved with here in the community?
Sure. I'm currently HOA president for Twin Lake Cottages and on the board for our PTA at Summit Drive Elementary. It's my 6-year-old goes there,
nice.
so that's a big part of it. Go Eagles.
Awesome.
I also serve on some statewide boards, the South Carolina Women's Affordable Housing Network.
Nice.
I'm very involved with 10 at the Top, which is kind of a professional planning organization, and just have volunteered on County Parks and Rec, volunteered for the city for many years, Upcountry History Museum, and I'm a graduate of Leadership Greenville as well, and Furman's Women's Leadership Institute.
Yeah, can't announce yet, but I applied for Leadership Greenville, and there's news coming out in a few months.
Okay, I will give you a good word.
Thank you.
So I cannot say that was 10 years ago. I did that. Program.
Wow.
And to this day, so much has come out of that.
Oh, yeah. I've heard great things. And what's so cool is someone who was on our podcast, who's a very good friend of ours, was in Leadership Greenville, one of the first classes, not to date him, but he wrote my recommendation letter and just shared how impactful it was for him. And we're pretty involved in the community as a couple. And so I just knew that was a good step to take for us. But with that being said, I mean, as I look at our calendar, I mean, we're overly involved, it seems like. But I tell people we're so busy, but it's all good things. So I can't cut anything out because it's all good.
Yes.
So with that being said, I mean, you just mentioned all these boards and organizations you're in. So what's really your mission behind being involved in all these organizations?
I mean, I think what you were talking about, inclusive community, you know, my background is community development planning, economic development planning, and that's what it is at the end of the day. Like, are people thriving? Are we doing well? Are we doing it in a community-centered way? And that's kind of also what, you know, city planning is about. So if it falls in that mission, I'm about it. And I think it's also like perfectly fine. I tell folks all the time, if you find yourself on a board or commission and you're like, oh, maybe this isn't a right fit, that's okay. You know, finish up your term and like move on to something that fits you, because there is only so many limited hours in a day. But I think it's fantastic what y'all are doing, because I can tell you the fruits of like the labor of the time of everything I've done before my kids, when I like on many boards, and now I'm kind of selective.
Sure.
Now you're
two
selective.
Little ones.
You mentioned a lot.
Well, I guess I mean
more selective.
I can't be on 5 different boards in a year anymore because of my young kids, but that you will definitely see all of that.
Well, we hope so. We know it'll have to be a transition whenever kids come into the picture, whenever that blessing occurs. We've had lots of conversations about the schedule shift. So
oh my gosh,
I don't know how it's going to happen, but there's going to have to be big changes.
Oh, for sure.
So we'll navigate that when we get there.
Yes.
I'd love to jump into Catalyst Consulting.
Yes.
About how you started that, some of the challenges involved with that. Can you just give us a brief overview about what it is and your mission with it?
Sure. So it's been about, I think, 15 months since I started my firm. So we're pretty new.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Got through the first year. Nice. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's been wonderful. I mean, there's nothing like, being your own boss, being flexible, making your own hours. But also, consulting is an area where you really get to lean on your own expertise and background. And I thrive in that space. Like I, want to do the best work I can for my clients. So it's a lot of government, it's nonprofit, and development. So affordable housing development. And I it's a wonderful experience just to be able to work across the country and help solve problems.
Nice. So do you have to travel a lot with that, or is it mostly Greenville focused?
Thankfully, since, technology is great, I don't have to travel too much. I can do even for some bigger cities I'm working in, it'll be like a 1 or 2 city visit, 2-time visit a year. But here in the state, I do visit more frequently, maybe once a month.
What do you think sparked your interest in urban development and city planning?
Ooh, that's a good question. To be real vulnerable here, when I was a kid, I, experienced some housing instability. My folks were going through some things. My mom was going through like postpartum issues, and we found ourselves, my twin sister and I, in different people's homes at different times. Thankfully, through the support of our church. Yeah,
nice.
And I think that kind of stuck with me. Like that was really ingrained. Like, okay, I remember that feeling. But at the end of the day, we had safe, stable housing to go back to, right? When our those health issues were worked out. And I think about how many people don't have that.
Yeah.
And I think that just always drew me into community and housing specifically. Yeah.
How can people get involved and help with that mission here in Greenville?
Ooh, wow. That's a good question. There's so many ways. I mean, one of my clients is Habitat for Humanity. That's a wonderful organization.
We love them. Yeah. We've done builds with them.
Oh, yeah?
They do so good. Yes. So much fun. One of the most recent builds I did, actually.
Yeah.
The owner that was going to live in that house with her 3 children came and was right there with us, putting up the walls, putting in the windows. Yeah. And it was such a sweet experience to not only help and give back to the community, but to hear about her story and meet her family. Yeah. So love them.
Yes. Like they put in that sweat equity is what they call it.
Yes.
And that's what all this stuff is about. It's just giving people the opportunity to work and housing is not often an easy system to navigate,
right?
And the market is a market, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's really wonderful how many nonprofits are out there doing the mission. Another great one I used to work at was Greenville Housing Fund. Okay. We were actually the city's kind of nonprofit arm for affordable housing. Definitely get on their sign-up list for their newsletters. Is that
Tiffany Santiago?
Yeah,
okay, cool.
She's like a really good friend.
Oh yeah, okay, good. So Tiffany, I had told you about her recently. We had gotten lunch and so active in the community and was telling me all about the Greenville Housing Fund. So
Yes, she's like one of my best friends.
okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, tell her we said hey.
Okay.
But it sounds like they had all kinds of opportunities for the
really
community
do.
to get involved and jump
Yes.
in and help. So
Totally.
love
Advocacy especially.
that. Very good.
Nice. So what do you think that, so you've obviously been doing this for a while, like urban development, city planning and all this. How has that helped like shape your background, prepare you for launching your own business?
Yes. I mean, it's impossible not to, or I should say, it's not possible to go into a field like this without having kind of a multitude of experiences. You know, I've worked on the housing and urban development federal level with some of their funds. I've worked state, I've worked locally, and that's all helped form kind of the breadth of what you might think of as housing planning or community development planning. And then I switched into urban planning, which is like more of your hard city planning, your traffic, your zoning and policy and land use and all those things together. And then I worked also in the policy and advocacy space. So I have this big breadth of experience that upon any client or project I can bring to the table. And that's what's great about.
So my knowledge with like affordable housing is limited. How do we promote affordable housing and how do we better that, especially when there's like so many people moving to Greenville and it's growing so much and housing prices are shooting up? Like, how do you address that issue?
You know, here it's really unique. I think in the city, we've flipped from about 60% home ownership to 60% rental.
Wow.
And in the last 10 years.
That doesn't surprise me.
Right. I mean,
and apartments are shooting up left and right.
Yes, exactly. And I don't think there's anything wrong with apartments, especially as, you know, focusing them in key areas where we can have strategic growth. But that has to come with the other systems and structures, like good transit, to make sure that all those cars aren't dumping into our streets. So, but yeah, the housing, it's not easy. You know, I would love to see us do some work on not only increasing our affordable home ownership again and building those home ownership numbers, but for those who do rent, you know, building equity while you rent, cooperative programs like other cities have, and then also just land trust models that takes the land out of the equation when trying to do home ownership. That just makes it more accessible for our teachers, our police officers, folks who really depend on in the community.
Yeah. So is it like when there's a higher level of home ownership, I guess that would make homes more affordable? Is that kind of
yes, inventory. Yes, 100%. The more inventory, generally, you're going to have a stabilization either of rents. You know, we need a good bit of inventory, I think, to get to that point, but it's happened in other places. So missing middle housing, building in some, you know, step up, smaller density to get there as well.
Nice.
Okay, so a little bit about you. As we walked in, Heath is wearing his UNC Chapel Hill shirt.
Yes.
So you mentioned that you are a Tar Heel.
I am.
So tell us a little bit about what program you did at UNC Chapel Hill. I come from work in a world where there's all kinds of acronyms and certifications, and no one knows what they mean. So tell us what you've got, what they mean, and what you do with those.
Yes. I guess I have two little acronyms. So MPA, so I got my Master of Public Administration. It's one of the leading schools of government in the country, Chapel Hill.
Let's go.
That's right.
Did you go to, did you do it in person or did you
I did
online?
a hybrid program.
Oh, cool.
So
nice.
it was like half there, half
How often did you have to go there?
It was like a few times a year kind of thing.
I like your program
Mine is, we kind of go optional. So I've been once and then I don't really have to go again, but I can.
Nice.
Yeah, we're going in the fall.
That was an international trip, actually.
Okay.
We're going,
summit.
more important, we're going for the Clemson UNC Chapel Hill football game. So we are going in the fall for football.
We're going.
You see what's important to me, football. For him, not so much. But we are going in the fall.
Nice.
So hopefully we'll get an opportunity to go on campus and maybe there's a day or two you can do some stuff while we're there. But
so I guess when did you get that MPA, like right after undergrad, or did you wait a couple years?
No, actually between I did the AmeriCorps program, which is like the Peace Corps but domestic.
Gotcha.
So I did that, and that's what's really brought me back to the Greenville area. I was like, I want to get back here. I want to be around my family. And they had an opening at the County Redevelopment Authority, which is local government, through AmeriCorps, and I had been here since.
Nice.
But yeah, I worked and commute to do the program because it was high, like before COVID, they were just starting to do some of this.
Online.
I don't think Zoom
hybrid
was
stuff.
a thing. Then.
Really?
So I sound like so old when I say that.
Maybe it was like Skype or something.
Skype
it was a
the
Skype
thing
type
before,
thing.
Yeah.
But it was great because I got to spend a lot of time in that area too, and they have some really great planning. My focus was on community and economic development, so studied things from sustainability to, how do we forego kind of the traditional economic development that's kind of died out, and how do we move to more of a tech market, an entrepreneurial market, and attract those things while making sure how affordability is addressed and cost of living and all those things.
So obviously city council is a very, I would say just you're on the go a lot, very busy season.
Yes.
How has that been so far? And when did you announce that you were running, and what inspired you to run?
Yeah, I filed in March this year.
Nice.
Really, I think it comes down to me being a planner. I see where we're headed. I work in the low country a lot.
Okay.
So 5, 10, 15 years from now, we could be in those same spot, right? Where they're not really saying quality of living anymore because of the cost of housing, because of the traffic.
Yeah, Charleston's, blown up.
Where in the low country are you spending your time?
North Charleston, Georgetown County.
Are you going to Allendale at all, or no?
Some smaller ones like Walterboro and Dillon.
Oh, we've got a friend from Dillon, but our church is very involved with the Allendale community. So that's why I asked about that.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot there, but I think, as you mentioned,
we're doing a whole series for the state rural development, and it's wonderful because some of these smaller towns, they don't have planning staff, and so it's a great way to be able to get in there, lend some expertise, and I just love small.
So are you helping small towns develop and kind of are they planning to become a bigger town, or
whether they plan it or not, all the data is
they're all going to be
it's
just because
coming
they're
their way.
outskirts of Charleston.
So we are kind of quickly becoming Florida. The halfback situation, and in the city too, our retiree count is really climbing. So while we're having a lot of younger folks move here, our average median age is also rising. So that does a lot of things. A lot of good things for tourism and things like that, but it's also balancing your workforce and things. So I can see what happens if we don't take care of traffic, if we are not paying attention to housing costs, childcare, if we're cutting down our trees with all the development. I see it. So I just want to make sure we protect that.
Is Charleston on the way to becoming a pretty massive economic development?
Oh, it already is. Yeah, they have a considerable.
It's like a mini Miami in a sense.
No, it really is. They have a considerably larger footprint, economic development-wise, than Greenville. I think it's 3 to 4 times. And so our cities they've launched a local Greenville Economic Development Corporation to help work towards that, to be just as competitive as the low country. And we certainly will be there, I think, soon. And that's great. Growth is good. I'm very pro-growth. I'm pro-development. I am pro-smart development, though. When I see, giant something being built, and I'm like, okay, think about all the cars on the road. Are we incentivizing them to not use those? Or is this building towering over this park over here? These are all real considerations we have to make.
And you can definitely grow too quick. I mean, a lot of people would argue that Greenville is growing too quick.
Yes. Well, infrastructure wise, we definitely have, right? And I would love to see, using technology, keep our lights flowing, keep our cars moving. If someone's speeding, if someone's running a red light, which some of this you do have to change on the state level, but you can use technology like drones and get around that it'll show up in the mail. You're like, okay, you were going 50 and a 25. I'm sorry if that's you, Heath, but we need to capture that revenue, make our streets safer, and then we can put that towards a really efficient trolley system. I've lived in cities where even medium-sized cities like Knoxville, Tennessee.
I have a great story of Knoxville, Tennessee, and the traffic light stuff.
There we go. I mean, the young professionals would get on the trolleys to go to work. It was not uncommon.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I used to live in Knoxville.
Okay.
And so they have those drones, or at a red light.
Yes.
They have cameras, so if you turn right without stopping all the way, you will get a ticket in the mail.
That's right. And you can put that money, and people know, because, I mean, I'm sure y'all have seen it around town, how many people run a red light.
Yeah.
They call it the 5-second rule now in Greenville.
Yeah.
You don't take a left. Like, you gotta wait, because someone is gonna come around that.
especially is extremely dangerous.
It is.
There's a wreck there almost every day.
Daily.
Yeah.
Yes, because at least I noticed on Lawrence the other day, they've done a lot of improvements to make the flow better, but some of the lights, it's so short. When you're trying to get onto
People are
Lawrence or
getting
get
backed
off
up.
Lawrence,
Yeah.
it gets backed up, and so everyone's running to red, because
Right.
literally the light is this fast.
That's terrible.
Yeah, and we just need to invest more in technology to help fix that.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's great. I'm sure there's so much we could get into about roads and traffic.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry.
No, that's good.
I'm all about
That's
fixing the roads and the potholes.
good.
Yes.
So, on the governor level, I helped with Governor McMaster's campaign
Cool,
when I was in
yeah.
college, and really got insight into what your world looks like. I work
Yeah.
in financial services, so this is not my world.
Yeah.
But it was a great experience
Yes.
to really work all day long, put signs out, go door knocking, and
Yes.
do the traditional campaigning.
Yes.
So with that being said, what does campaign season look like for you?
Yeah.
And then two, what are your key or top priorities that you're really
Yes.
pushing out to the community?
For sure. Yeah, I mean, it's a really over a year-long process. Even before you file, you've got to kind of lay some groundwork. But we're very, people-powered. Like, you've got just some young folks. And first, I want to say thank you for volunteering on campaigns.
It was so fun. It was a great college experience, I'll tell you that.
I worked on so many, just volunteered for so many, over the years. It's just fun camaraderie, and it is like just go out there and meet people.
It was a
That's
great
what it's
time.
about. Just
It was-
knocking doors.
Door knocking, yeah.
Yes,
It's a great
yes.
networking opportunity because all the events the governor would put on to
Yeah.
his campaign during his campaign race and
Yeah.
whatnot. I got to meet so many different business leaders
Yes.
all over the state of
Yeah.
South Carolina, people running for positions like yours
Yeah.
and from you all the way to the governor,
Yeah,
so
it's amazing.
it was a great opportunity to network and
Yeah.
meet people.
And I think you find that you have a lot more in common when you're talking to people face to face. Like, I
Yes.
think we've become so polarized, but the reality is most people just want like the American dream.
Correct. Correct.
We
Yeah.
want that. We want, stable housing and, good education for our
Yeah.
kids, safety, to be in a
Yes.
safe community.
Yes.
And those are the things we're pushing for. Our big four priorities are housing affordability, especially for like our generation and younger. I feel
Yes.
like, it was been left out of that. It's very
Yes.
hard to enter the market. So flipping that 60% homeownership and rental, getting that back closer to a healthy level, making sure we reduce traffic through mobility. I would love to have a small, efficient trolley system. Like, imagine if you could just, y'all are on a really good road.
Yeah.
You could just hop on the trolley, get downtown, or get to some major
That would be
areas.
convenient for
And
sure.
I love the trolleys we have downtown.
I know, me too.
They're cute. Those
We've been
little-
on it one
They're
time,
so
but
accessible.
we didn't know where it was going, but we just wanted to test it out. So we hopped on and we were like,
Yes.
where are you taking us? And they were like, actually to the parking lot. We're like, we'll go.
Yeah, wherever
see
you want to take
it.
us, we just want to go.
Because it's fun.
Yeah.
We used to have streetcars and all that. And I would love our buses just to be like those going out to the other municipalities and going to the big employment centers. Like, my husband works, near BMW. He's got a supplier.
Yeah.
Thousands of people, 20,000 people carpool to work every day.
Right.
They should be taking the bus, but like, it's not an efficient system because we don't invest in it.
Yeah.
Next would be trees, making sure we protect our open space or green space, particularly. We lost so many trees during the hurricane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're sitting on a few $1 million of tree fees. So I would love for the city to work with private homeowners to get those replanted. Because like you said, like, the trees are what keep Greenville green.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
And the west side of town, like, development is just taking them down. You can
Yeah.
look at this heat map, and the east side of town looks great. The west side of town, not so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Thank
then
you.
last would be childcare. We live in a childcare desert, and just with some tweaks and like zoning, and some interesting models out there that other cities use, we could help improve some childcare access.
Childcare is a big topic I'm hearing. I'm
Gosh.
involved with Greenville Women Giving. I don't know
Yeah.
if you're familiar with the organization, but they put on several educational events throughout the year, and the most
Yes.
recent one I attended was about childcare.
Yes,
and the
one of my
statistics
clients
were
presented.
alarming. Okay, so who was it?
Derek Lewis,
Yes.
on First Steps.
Yes, and he did a great
Yes,
job.
Yes.
So that was a great session. I came home and told Heath, I was like, I had no idea that it was as bad as it is.
I got to got it for both of my girls, who are now 3 and 6, but still, this is very pertinent today. Like, I had to get on list before I was pregnant.
Right. That's what we hear.
And it was still 5 months before they started.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Now
That's
I'm
crazy.
hearing we've got friends in the neighborhood having kids. So the wait lists are, at least the local ones were around our neighborhood, the Goddard School and Legacy. The wait lists are 2 years long. So
Yes.
insane.
it is crazy. So anyways, love that that's one of your initiatives. So
Thank you.
That's a good, entrepreneurial idea. I guess if anyone's listening, open up some daycares. 'cause
Absolutely.
We need more of them.
Yes, in-home care providers. That's why I say changing some of the zoning would be helpful. The center that my daughter is at now, my 3-year-old, it couldn't be built today based on, I mean, it could be, but you have to go all these extra levels.
So it's hard to get a child care facility up in business.
In these 4 residential districts, yes. Yes.
Dang, that's,
Yeah,
I can
but-
see where we could do some improvements there then.
Of course.
Yeah.
and like the Goddard School, which is right here next to us, they have a location in Fountain here, and then they open one on Pelham Road, and the one on Pelham, from what I've heard, already has wait lists, and they sent a bunch of students here from the Woodruff Road location over there because of how full it was. So even if they open, it's quick. Spots are taken.
Yes. Well, what people don't realize is you can also, if you want to become an in-home care provider, there's so many benefits to that. Like you can get your undergraduate degree paid for.
Really?
You can get training. And honestly, that's some of the only childcare you can get if you're somebody who works like second or third shift, or you're in kind of a less of a 9 to 5. But we've got to incentivize folks to do that because that also takes just knowledge and getting out there in education. So.
What do you think's been the biggest shocker of running for city council?
Ooh. Well, shocker.
Have there been any surprises like, oh, I didn't think that would be that difficult, or I didn't think that would be that easy, or some of that stuff?
That's a good question. I don't know. Well, so this is my second time. I ran for state senate 6 years ago, which was nuts because I had a 6-month-old.
Wow.
Good for
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
So it's not my first rodeo. So
Okay, that's
luckily,
good.
I don't think I've had any surprises yet.
Okay.
But everything's different. Every race is different. I think I've pleasantly been surprised just how these are so, I mean, it is technically like a partisan race, but these aren't blue or red issues. They're very much planning and growth oriented. So it doesn't matter who you're talking to, they understand that. Like, we've got to be responsible with our growth.
Yeah. Was running for Senate the first go? Was that any like surprises there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I got a lot of, because I just had a child, I got a lot of like, who's going to take care of your baby?
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, yeah, we have childcare and I have a husband.
There is a plan.
I mean, just a lot of that, and how will you manage this and be a mom? And I was just thinking, do they ask this to men? I'm not sure they get those questions.
Yeah.
And so I'm really lucky to have just an amazing partner, to be honest. Like, he is such a rock, and he's the opposite of me. Like, I'm probably an ambivert, but he's like introvert. So he is just like, I'm down to like watch the kids, and he's a triathlete too. So it works out well. So like, I'll have my hobby, I guess right now is running for office. Is it a hobby? I guess.
It takes a lot of time.
It's a time suck for sure.
Yeah.
But he can then be like, okay, I'm going on a 3-hour run, or I'm going on a bike ride. And so it's nice to really support each other in those dreams.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, that's a lot that you're taking on right now, and a huge, like you said, a huge time suck. But let's shift real quick over to your business. So, Catalyst Community Consulting.
Yes.
What was the most difficult part of starting your own business?
Honestly, I think just taking the leap was the hardest part, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I've always seen myself, most of my career was in government, then worked in nonprofit space. So always in the public sector, I was like, even though I've worked a lot with the private sector, kind of as that liaison, it was like, oh, I don't know how to do this. I'm not sure if I can do this. And I think at some point you just gotta like take that risk.
Yeah.
You gotta jump in that boat. And I've been so pleasantly surprised. I haven't had to market or promote. Everything's just been through word of mouth.
Nice.
And I think that just lean on yourself and trust yourself and your expertise.
That's very fortunate, because I feel like at first, especially like a lot of businesses have a hard time getting going that first year, 3 years, getting momentum. But it sounds like you've already accomplished a lot of that.
I think it's a niche thing, to be honest, too. Not everybody focuses on affordable housing, and it's such a growing need, right? I mean, unfortunately, I wish this was not like a job. The idea is that you like work yourself out of a job and something like this, but it's really important. So I just I'm very fortunate to have some great folks who've really spoken on my behalf and gotten me work just across the country.
So when people come to you and they're asking for your services, are you the subject matter expert in affordable housing, or is it something else that you would think that you are the
it could
SME
be
per se?
community engagement. I'm big, on processes, how to engage the community and how do we make sure that people's voices are heard in the planning process. That's a big part of being, I guess I didn't say my second acronym is AICP, American Institute of Certified Planners. It's about carrying out what the community said that they care about. I think a lot of the times there's a lot of decisions made up here,
Right.
but in planning you really have to make sure that you're incorporating that grassroots. So it's community engagement, affordable housing, but also I do city plans. I helped write the city of TR's master plan.
Oh, nice. TR is like a beautiful
I know,
little town.
I love TR.
Yeah.
It's just little like towns like that I get to work in.
That's a fun.
So county plans, city plans, comprehensive plans, master plans, development codes, fun stuff.
Love it.
Park plans though too. I get to do some of those.
Like state park or just local parks and
Yeah,
stuff.
state and local parks.
Cool, nice.
Yeah.
That's great. So how do you help your clients translate ideas into big, meaningful impacts in whatever location they're in?
Yeah. I think building up, if it's, from the communities, generally when you're hearing it from, you might have some interest coming from elected officials or government bodies, or even maybe it's a private developer and they're saying like, we want to do some affordability in this project. You're finding, case studies and research and best practices. And these are ones I've direct experience with, either carrying them out, getting them started, passing policy. But I think a big part of it is that messaging and communicating it up so that no matter what, people feel bought in
Yes.
to whatever that is. Because the last thing you want is somebody like surprised about, okay, like we're doing missing middle housing and trying to make some more housing inventory in our community, but they don't know what that means.
Sure.
And like it sounds like a very scary thing. So I think you're translating and messaging is a huge part, but getting that buy-in from the ground
Is
up.
there a success story you have with one of your clients, one that you could share?
Yeah. Okay, let me think. Yes. This one was actually for the city of Greenville.
Nice.
Very good. See, appropriate.
Yeah.
Good one. that
So
you picked.
they can no longer be my client, of course.
Okay.
When you're running for
I think
city
technically
council.
not until I am elected, but
Yeah.
we're not going that route just to be kosher.
Yeah.
But
You
yeah,
have a lot of accusations.
in the past, I worked with them to do a housing impact analysis, and that opened up funding for state accommodations tax. It passed a few years ago.
Nice.
Senator Davis out of Beaufort area pushed for some of the accommodations tax for hotels to go towards 15% could go towards workforce housing. So supporting those who are actually in the hotels, doing that. And locally, we could access that immediately, but statewide, we actually had to write a housing analysis. Any municipality would have to write a housing analysis. What's really funny is that I argued against that. When I was at the Housing Fund, I said, that's a whole nother barrier. That's a whole nother thing we got to do. If they already have a master plan and a comp plan, or a comp plan and a city plan, why have to do that? And now I'm writing them. So it's kind of an ironic tale of sorts. But I love it because I get to work with all these different municipalities and open up funding for them for this important issue.
Yeah. Do you have trouble raising your voice in some of these meetings or speaking your mind at all, or you just feel free to?
No, that's what's great about being a consultant. It's like they're leaning on you for
Right.
your opinion, your expertise.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly, it'll be different as an elected official
Yeah.
to an extent, right? If a consultant's getting up there and they're saying their own spiel, I don't think I'm going to be jumping in and be like, well, I disagree.
I would imagine, do some of these smaller communities around the Charleston area kind of not believe you so much when you're like, hey, your city's going to grow, your town's going to grow because Charleston's growing so much? Are they like, nah, we're good? Or what is their
No,
kind of...
I think so many of them are already seeing the pull.
Okay.
I'd say there's
Charleston's believable.
Yeah.
That place is exploding.
Georgetown, they get it. I'd say like Walterboro, if I think of them, their county has exploded, but their city is kind of, I think, lacking some economic development and bigger employers. So, and that's an interesting thing, is because one of the strategies I've learned from the smaller towns, I'd actually love to see in our city. They work to push development into cities, so we're not sprawling everywhere. And they work with the county to split their taxes. I would love to see that in our own city, so that the cities and counties are working together to not only prevent sprawl. The county can help grow their taxes, and the city can take their portion and maybe put that toward workforce housing, affordable housing, economic development, and also you're just growing in smaller areas that'll be walkable. There'll be good transit,
Nice.
Almost like little mini downtowns. What if Greenville had, Overbrook's kind of getting big, West Greenville's getting big, like the Village area. What if everywhere it was just as well planned?
I'm pretty envious of how you have tied your passions with your job. It feels like every day you're doing exactly what you love to do or what you were called to do. Do you think that, or I know that you talked about your background growing up and how that kind of played into some of your housing passions, but what about just like the urban development and the helping communities? Like, what is it that fuels you with all of that?
I think actually that same experience, like being in other people's homes, and that was my community, my church, and like all the families. And I also played like group sports. I did Clemson soccer camp, like all those things. I like a team aspect. I like, when I was in college, I was like an RA. Like I don't, you know what I mean? I like community building. I find it to be a second family. Nice. And so I think planning is also just like bringing the community into that process. I think on top of it, I just love cool new things. Like I have like a ridiculous list of like whenever a new restaurant opens or a new shop.
We're like that the restaurant.
I mean, and that's what I loved about Greenville over the past so many years. But I've also seen a lot of really good small businesses close too. So I think that's an important and crucial support for our city. Let's keep it vibrant. Let's keep it funky. Like I don't want us all like painted over brick and like these murals that are just like printed. Like let's get some cool like
let's
young
make it lively,
energy. Like when they painted over the Coca-Cola like mural.
Yeah, I know, that was sad.
I mean, how many people have had their
I have
like,
pictures
engagement
in front
photos?
of that. I mean, everyone has pictures, and they put something else there. I just saw it the other day.
It says Greenville.
Greenville.
It looks like a postcard.
I saw that.
Yeah.
But since you brought up the restaurants, we also have a list of restaurants, and anytime there's a new one, we go try it right away.
Yes.
But with as busy as we are with working, podcast, My Ladies Club, all the things, we haven't been able to do it. So we made a mission like a week or two ago that we're going to go to all the new places over the next like month. And so with that being said,
that's so awesome.
I'm making it quicker than he is.
Okay.
So with that being said, new restaurants. Have you tried DeMarco's? Have you tried the Matador, Abyss, Stir, any of the new ones?
DeMarco's.
How'd you like it?
We have not been
Very
there yet.
good.
Yeah.
We're going for his birthday, so I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yes.
Okay, well, we're going to shift gears just a little bit to talk more about kind of challenges in your career before we close out.
For sure.
So whether it's government, your campaign, or personal life, you know, what would you say are some of the biggest professional challenges that you've faced throughout your career?
That's a good one. I think well, when you're in government, that I think that's particularly hard.
I would think every day is a challenge.
Yes. Yes.
It's not a stress-free job.
Think about it. Okay, like I was nicknamed Leslie Knope in college. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I was vice president of my student body. I passed ordinances as in student government. I was
good. Leadership.
Yes. But you're the youngest person again.
Yeah.
You're a young female in an office.
I get that.
And you're banging your head against the wall because you're just like, I want to innovate. I want to use technology.
And it's hard to make anything happen in government.
It's so slow.
Yes.
Yes. And that's a huge part of this campaign is like innovating governments. And that's what I do in my work, and that's what I want to bring to council, because I'm like, business license. Like, why are we printing out a PDF and turning it in person at a physical building? I'm just like, this is 2025. Like, that's not going to incentivize any business. And can we incentivize? Can we give them access to the chamber or Next Gen or the Greenville economic development? Like, all of those things, I think, are important. And so government's slow. That's definitely has been a challenge. Nonprofits, you wear like 3 hats. It's the opposite problem, maybe. So I actually really have enjoyed the private sector and kind of balancing all of it. But you have to make your voice known. It doesn't matter who you are. Don't be afraid of it. Embrace it, and just trust yourself.
Nice. When you look back on your background and your upbringing, did you have any mentors that really helped you through that?
Yes.
Or that are helping you today, maybe even?
Yes, I do. My first boss, actually, when I moved, back to the area, my boss with Greenville County Redevelopment Authority. She's still my mentor. She's the best.
That's awesome.
And what's great is we've been able to work together even in different capacities. And she just always comes out and supports me. If you're listening, I love you. She's just a huge rock. And actually, when I started my consulting business, she was inspired and she ended up starting her own business.
Wow.
And so that's been just like a wonderful.
That's a cool full circle right there.
It really is. It really is. Yeah.
Nice. Well, cool.
Of course, my parents. They are very politically involved and active, and actually, we're on probably more opposite sides of the political spectrum. But that's why I think I enjoy the work I do and why I'm good at it, is that I can see things from multiple perspectives and understand it. And
we need a lot of that in government.
Yeah.
We don't have much of it.
Well, I personally find myself more of an independent
yes,
type. I feel like economically maybe liberal, but for our generation,
you
for access to housing, for childcare, those things.
And stuff,
but I believe in small government. I believe in fiscal responsibility, and I think I get those from my parents. And we debated everything at the dinner table every night.
Really?
Yes.
Practice for you.
I mean, it kind of is, and I'm really grateful for their civic engagement. I don't think everybody gets that in their home.
I left high school not knowing the difference between a conservative, liberal. I didn't know.
Yeah, maybe that's okay. Honestly, maybe we need to
Well, I just didn't know. I'm I don't know what my parents vote for. I don't know what I would vote for. I don't know what the issues are. I was in a bubble. I just didn't.
I think that carried through after high school. It wasn't even until more recently that
in college I started to understand a little bit, and then it was after graduation, I was okay,
now
I can have an opinion on some of these things, especially now that I'm working. That kind of thing. But I was one of those ones that had a very different experience growing up. Where I just didn't have, which it was to a fault because I was so out of the loop with everything.
Yeah.
But.
What advice would you give to a young professional, maybe a young woman that wants to move into politics, an industry that's still primarily older and men, and I'm in an industry that's primarily men, which I love working with.
Yes.
But what advice would you give to a young girl that wants to be in the position that you're in now?
Of course, like anything, do the work, right? How you show up, putting the time in is important. But also just, again, don't be afraid to be yourself. Yeah. You might, I'm coming off assertive or whatever. That's, at the end of the day, do the work, do the research, know your craft, and advocate for yourself at every point. No, I'm sorry. No, I think this. No, as much as you can. Yeah, and it's hard. It's so hard. I've been in places where I've not felt supported and didn't feel like I could do that. But you gotta you trust yourself.
How'd you get over that hurdle?
I think it was other women.
Nice.
Other employees who were supportive, and that build your village, right? You got to have that. My kids, my family, my friends, they ground me at the end of the day.
Yes.
I'm sure y'all ground each other, so having that for sure.
So let's fast forward 10, 15 years. You win city council.
Okay.
Maybe you go on to something else. And
10, 15 years.
Yeah. What kind of legacy are you hoping to leave?
Oh gosh.
And do you? Yeah, I mean, right now we're focused on city council. Maybe you have personal aspirations for else, but
I don't know. To be honest with you, like,
or how do you want people to remember you?
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, I want to have set Greenville on the path to maintain the quality of life that we have now and even improve it for some people who are not experiencing that same quality. Yes. That's what I want. I want us to have a more walkable, mobile city, one that weathers high housing costs, one that expands our child care, our after school, our summer programs, you know, invest in our parks, some that have been neglected in some neighborhoods. I just want it to be a place where everybody can thrive and make sure it's accessible, because I feel like, you know, the way we're going, the trends, you know, I look at data all day. The trends scare me. I just want this to be a place that my kids can live and be proud of, and feel like it's some place for everybody.
I love that you're a data person.
All day, every day.
I love that. I can relate to that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, we'll wrap it up here, but I do want to ask if anyone's listening and wants to get involved with your campaign or wants to get involved with Catalyst, how can they find you and how can they get involved?
Well, so catalyst-cc.org is a website, and actually I'll be hiring for an intern soon.
Oh, nice.
So please check it out. And if you like urban planning, GIS, any focus in nonprofit or development. And then from a campaign, it's just tinabelge.com. So pretty easy. You can look at all the priorities for the campaign, in-depth solutions, but also sign up to volunteer in all of our events.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, Tina, best of luck to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Tina. We appreciate you being here.